Oh, there she is. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Bonnie Halper. I write the weekly StartupOneStop newsletter. I'll post a link in the chat. And every 2 weeks, we host a different guest, an investor, with insights, and we host our online investor insights. This week, we have Mike Adams, who will be speaking soon. But first, I also help founders with their pitch decks and talking points because you all need that help. First, I'd like to have Joseph introduce himself and tell us what he's up to.
Thank you all, and apologize to everyone who joined earlier for that unfortunate moment. But Joseph Katz, live in northern New Jersey, startup marketing guy, help startups grow using go-to-market strategies and customer acquisition as to help them build their businesses. Happy to talk more later with anyone. I will put my information into the chat, and I advise everyone to do the same because we try to keep the intros short so that we can learn from our guest.
Today, our guest is Mike Adams, who is an investor and a founder. He has a platform called Introstars. I'll tell you about it. And funnily enough, was employee number 6 at Zoom, and we got Zoom bombed earlier. But he gave us he gave us some great security tips, and I thank you for that. So, Mike, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us about your background and how you invest right now, or do you want us to go around the room and have the attendees introduce themselves? It's up to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Bonnie. Great to meet you all. Happy Thursday. So my name's Mike. I'm based in London in the UK, but I'm not British. I'm Belgian American. So I don't sound British at all, even though I've been in London for 23 years. And so I kind of have my hands in many pies. I'm an investor in 22 startups. I'm always looking for cool startups to invest in. And then I also just launched my own startup, which is called Introstars, as Bonnie just mentioned, which is helping startup founders and B2B salespeople get warm referrals to their ideal customers. My mission in life is to connect as many people as possible to make the world a better place and to create great opportunities. My background, in London, people call me the king of networking. So I've been to more than 1,000 networking events in person in London. I used to do 15 events a week, 3 events a day, every day for 3-4 years, literally drinking way too much red wine, talking to random strangers, shaking lots of hands, exchanging business cards. And I built a pipeline of $7 million of business just networking, purely networking, no cold calls, no cold emails, no random LinkedIn messages, none of that, just in-person networking. So I'm a strong believer in people, connecting people, helping out each other, making great introductions. And that's why I've launched Introstars to help millions of other people become super connectors themselves and really make great connections. So again, I'll talk about that in a few minutes, but that's my intro in a sec. Yeah.
And we'll talk about your investor side. Maybe we should
Yes.
have attendees introduce themselves first.
Yeah.
So,
Perfect.
Ian, take it away.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Ian Garmez. I live in Toronto, but I work as the COO for a company in Los Angeles called Virtual Film School, which was an online school for content creators, but it's now essentially a marketing consulting firm. And we're just gearing up in a new way, and it's going rather well at the moment. So that's us. And I'll put my contact info in the chat.
Ah, thank you. Dikshan, you made it.
Hi, Dixon here. I'm the co-founder of Nurex, which is a platform to help people find, create, and automate their document needs. And it's based on multiple AI technologies. And we just had a soft launch last Tuesday. I'll share the link as well for you guys to check it out. Thank you.
Okay, I know Eric. Sai, introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. Sai here. Originally from India, right now in Canada. Been in the IT space for 10 years. Recently, we started building our own product. It's in the augmented reality space. So we leverage Apple Vision Pros to do augmented reality walkthroughs in an empty home where you can see all your furniture, all your interiors completely done, and you can customize on the go. So that's our product. Thank you.
Where are you based?
Canada, Ottawa.
Oh, okay. I'm always just curious where people are. Matthew, introduce yourself. Good to see you. Are you muted? Oh, maybe he's muted. Matthew? Maybe he's having technical issues. Tino.
Hey, thanks. My name is Tino Go. I'm the founder of Baru. And so Baru, we simplify custom cabinetry. So we have an AI-ready design to manufacturing platform that connects customers with local manufacturers using a self-service configurator. So we're able to offer at mainstream prices, high quality, astoundingly affordable custom cabinets delivered 4 times faster. Uber for CNC machines. And so, Sai, I'd love to be able to speak with you because we have patents associated with that, AR, VR to manufacturing.
For sure.
Oh, you guys introduce. That's what the chat is for. Matthew, you want to try introducing yourself?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Sorry about that. So, Chief Investment Officer of a clean tech investment group, I guess you can call us, or a like to call us kind of like a holding company. So we invest in everything clean tech, but we like to look at all different types of technologies, anything ranging from, as we all know, how hot AI is right now, but looking at software, hardware, anything in technology. Checks start around 5 million, go up from there. And we're also starting an angel fund. So if anybody wants to partake in that a little bit, please, I'm gonna put my contact in the chat, and I look forward to talking to you. And thank you
Okay.
again.
All right, thank you. Alex.
And where are you based, Matthew? Are you
He's in
based in the
California.
US?
Yeah, my apologies. Yes, I'm in Sunnyvale in Silicon Valley.
Okay.
Alex.
Is it my turn?
Yes, your turn.
Hey. So I'm Alex. Hi, Bonnie. Hope you feel
Hey.
better.
I have my tea.
Hey, don't forget the honey. So my background is more investment banking and finance, but decided last year to do basically the first time startup for whatever reason. A bit of madness, but started a fintech company which is effectively and dually based in both London and Florida. So Mike, happy to meet up over pints or red wine or what have you, but in the spring especially. But we are focused on bringing the best of AI, machine learning, OCR.
Zepto is an AI-powered data analytics software. Let's log in.
Well, somebody, yeah, thank you.
That wasn't me. But bringing the best of technology and new enterprise software specifically for the specialty lending sector in the UK and the US.
Thank you. Eric Becker, you made it back.
Yes. I just had to run off and do something, but I'm glad everything. So Eric Becker, I'm the founder and CEO of Millimatch. So bit of an interesting background. I've had 5 previous startups, 4 successful exits, and this is number 6. So Millimatch is kind of special to me. We are experts in behavioral intelligence. So our clients, we provide insights that power workforce decisions and performance. So we have patents on cognitive natural language processing to where we measure individual workplace behavior, and it pretty much applies to every area of the employee life cycle. So we work with everything from Fortune 100 down to 10-person firms. Thank you, Bonnie, for inviting me here.
Oh, thank you for showing up. Natalia. Oh, you're muted right now and off camera, maybe. Nitendra,
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Good.
Hey. Okay, it's working.
So tell us about you, Natalia.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, it's working. Hey, how are you there? So I am Natalia. I live in New York City, and I do fractional CMO and AI strategy. And I help fintech and Web3 companies to scale from 100K to 1 million.
Oh, good for you. They need it. Nitindra, and put your contact information in the chat. Make sure to beat this. You never know.
Hi, I'm a journalist. So I have, interestingly, I started when the typewriters were there in the press room. So now I am freelancing and I really want to know more about AI, and I'm using a lot of AI into my own profession. So I found this topic to be interesting. So I have joined to know more about what is happening in the AI sector. And I do have a few channels where I write a lot about AI. So if anybody is interested to be featured, I'll share my contact information and you guys can always get back to me. And it's nice to see everybody over here. Thank you.
Yes, definitely put your contact information in the chat. We have a lot of people who are working in AI. Who did I get everybody? Charlie.
Hi everyone. I'm Charlie. I'm from London, based in London. Although I'm actually in the US for the next week or so for some meetings. I'm the co-founder of Spot. Essentially, Spot is Venmo, Zelle, Cash App for the UK because we don't really have that. So we launched last year. We went viral across a bunch of different university campuses and also across SMBs as well. So yeah, happy to connect with everyone. We're now raising our seed round, mostly from US-based investors. And yeah, great to be here and thank you for having me.
Well, great to meet you, Charlie. I'd love to talk about your solution. I was just in the US last week and I couldn't use Venmo or Zelle because I have a UK account. So I definitely would have loved to use your solution.
Yeah, exactly. No, we hear that all the time.
Let me know when you're back in London. I'm actually going to Denver next week, but then I'll be back in London after that. So
cool. Amazing. We'll catch up.
Awesome.
Yeah, so in the meantime, like I said, put your contact information in the chat so you guys can all hook up. We're all about networking, right, Mike? So
always networking, right?
always,
Never stop.
always be networking. I've been a compulsive networker since the start. You got to get out there, and not just online. You know, that's fine, but there's nothing like in-person meetings, really.
For sure. Yeah.
Whole different dynamic. So tell us about your new platform and about your investments, because I know you very actively invest.
Absolutely. So let's talk first about investments. Most people have a very strict thesis about a specific type of startup they want to invest in, whether it's AI or fintech, whatever. My thesis is very simple. There's two things I look at. One, it has to be an ethical startup. Ethical meaning they want to make the world a better place. They want to help people's lives, make people's lives better. So that's super important to me. And second aspect is they have to be printing money. They have to be super, have a very profitable business model. It doesn't mean they have to make money right now, but they have to have a very strong business model where the money will be very obvious. So I'm not interested in startups who are only interested in money, but with no ethics. And I'm not interested in startups which are super ethical, but make no money. So the two conditions have to be met. So they have to be really have a great solution to help people, but also have a very profitable business model. So those are the two things I look at when I look at a startup. But if you look at my 22 investments, they're very varied. There's my average ticket size is about $50,000. So some of the startups I invested are AI, some are health tech, medical technology, edge tech, like new material science. One of them is like fintech as well, which I love. One of them is like a lights on your phone to help you sleep. Like, again, it's very varied. So I'm always interested to meet passionate founders who've got a strong ethical sense, but also understand business and have are very grounded, understand how to make money. So again, that's what I look at when I look at investments. But it's not a specific industry. Like, I'm happy to look at every industry. The only industry I'm really not interested in is fashion. It's just not my thing. It's not. Obviously I enjoy fashion. It's just like I don't. Just an industry I'm not really. I don't know. It's not something I'm interested in. Or sports. It's not really my thing either. I'm interested in biotech or like what do you mean, like anyone who's interested in biohacking. That's what I was looking for. So that's I'm interested in, but not just sports tech. So anyway, those are things I look at. But again, if you got any interesting startup you want to talk to me about, happy to have a conversation. And to be honest, many founders I spend time with, I just mentor them. I don't invest in them money, but I'm happy to invest time or help them, support them, make some good introductions for them. So I really want to help as many founders as possible. My personal mission in life, my spiritual mission, as I said earlier, is to connect people. I love to connect people. I'm a people connector. I've got 30,000 connections on LinkedIn. I'm always trying to bring people together. And so really that's what it's about. It's about helping people by connecting them and mentoring them as much as I can. My background, as I said, is sales and marketing, big tech. I used to work for Apple, HP, Zoom for 30 years. So I'm very old. I've worked for all the different tech companies, but always sales, marketing, and partnerships. And I think that's really what it's about, partnerships, connecting the right people. And so today I've launched a startup, Introstars, just over a year ago, which is really a platform for high value introductions. Because when you talk about to any startup founder or B2B salespeople, what are you looking for? Introductions. Now, everyone's looking for an introduction to your ideal customer, to your biggest prospect, to a business partner. Everyone's looking for introductions, to high value introductions for high value deals. So I thought if only there was a platform where you could describe your ideal introduction, post it on there for introducers to send you introductions, and then where introducers could get rewarded if an introduction is made and a deal comes out of it. So if you make an introduction between two people and they close a $100,000 deal, the introducer could get a reward for that, like $5,000 or $10,000 introduction reward. And so for me, it's important to reward the introducer because introducers spend their whole career building their relationships, building their network. They should get rewarded when they actually help people connect and close deals. So it's finding that right balance between helping each other but also monetizing, right? It's a fine balance. When you connect people, it's not all about the money. You want to help them. Again, there's an ethical aspect there, but then you should be able to pay your bills, right? You should get rewarded. So it's finding that balance. Hey, Joseph, you have a question? Go for it.
Yeah, real quick. I was poking around your website earlier. A lot of people have tried to do these kinds of compensation for introduction models in different ways. How do you, is it all trust-based? How do you make sure that the person making the introduction and the person who was introduced, get compensated appropriately?
Yeah, and so there's a few elements to it. So one really important aspect is to track introductions properly, because so many times you introduce two people to each other, and then 6 months later, they close $1 million deal together. 6 months later, they completely forgot about you. They forgot that you made the introduction, when you made the introduction, when, how, whatever. So that's really important to track it properly. When I say track, it's not just an Excel spreadsheet. Like it has to be tracked in some kind of tool. So there's an official introduction date. It's all black and white. It's clearly tracked. You get reminders. So the tracking is super important to avoid that gray area. The second thing which is important is to have a legal referral agreement signed in place before the introduction is made. So you can't make an introduction and 3 months later a deal is done and then you say, oh, you need to pay me money now, because you didn't agree that up front. You didn't have a signed agreement saying you should get you're entitled to a percentage. So again, all of that has to be done up front before you make an introduction. And so that's why I built Introstars to have all that gray area taken care of. All the tracking is done, all the legal terms and conditions are done up front before you make an introduction. So again, all that is important. And then there's a trust element, right? Everything is based on trust and reputation. And that's super important. Like you need to be trusting. If you don't trust someone, you're not going to introduce them to someone because they could run away and disappear, right? So again, that trust is important. So again, I focus a lot on trust and reputation. And that's how I built Introstars, to guarantee everyone is trusted, you got a good reputation, it's tied to your LinkedIn network, et cetera, et cetera. Eric, you had a question.
Yeah, thank you, Mike, and pleasure to meet you. Look, this is something I had dealt with 5 previous companies, is where does the compensation end? And let me give you an example. I introduced you to such and such, they introduced you to such and such, but if I wouldn't have made the initial introduction, you wouldn't have gone along. So therefore, I should be compensated for not only the initial one, but that led to another, into another, into another. I would love your opinion on where does that end or how to deal with that, because I've never solved it.
Yeah, and to be honest, even if we have a legal agreement in place, like a referral agreement signed by both parties, there's always a gray area that if you introduce a specific person, but the deal is not done with that person's company, but it was another company which they introduced you afterwards, should you pay the initial introducer a referral commission? And to be honest, it is a gray area where, as an intro seeker, the person who received the introduction, you can decide to be extra generous and pay a referral commission to the introducer, even if it's not that direct introduction, which led to a deal. And so if you're extra generous and pay them referral commission, you don't have to legally, but it will help your reputation, meaning that person is going to send you many more introductions, right? And so there is an incentive for the intro seeker to overpay introduction fees, even if they don't legally have to, right? To really kind of be extra generous with your referral commissions, because by doing that, again, you improve your reputation and you're going to receive many more introductions and referrals to other customers. Where, so you see, so the more generous you are as an intro seeker, the more introductions you get. It's as simple as that. So, but as you said, there is a gray area where it's not entirely black and white whether you should pay an introduction fee or not. Now, it's the same thing. Imagine on Introstars, for example, the default introduction period is 12 months. So if you receive an introduction and you close the deal within 12 months, you have to pay a referral commission. But imagine the deal is closed after 13 months. Well, legally, you don't have to pay an introduction fee anymore because it's 13 months is more than 12. However, again, you can choose to be extra generous and pay a referral commission anyway, even if it was beyond the 12 months. Because again, by doing that, you will improve your reputation. The introducer will be super happy, say, wow, that person is really honest. That guy is super honest. No, Eric is such an honest person. I want to send him more introductions. So by again, being extra generous and go above and beyond the legal terms and conditions of the referral agreement, you will improve your reputation and therefore get more introductions. So that is your incentive to do it. But again, there is a legal gray area where it's not entirely clear, should you actually pay a referral commission or not, if it's an indirect introduction which led to a deal. So again, it is a complicated minefield. It is not, not everything is black and white, right? That is clear.
Thank you, Mike. That helps.
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask a follow-up to that? So
Of course, go for it.
The reputation piece, how does a new person on the platform know that, say, Eric's reputation is great because he went above and beyond? I didn't go that deep into the site, but it's interesting.
So there's a few elements. So number one, once someone signs up on Introstars, it's directly tied to your LinkedIn profile. So when you sign up with your LinkedIn login. And that means that it is tied to your LinkedIn profile and people can check your LinkedIn reputation, meaning how many followers you have, how many recommendations you have, the content you've posted, your personal brand on LinkedIn. So all of that contributes to your personal reputation. Then, of course, you put a link to your company's website and people can check your company websites, see are there credentials there? Do you have customer recommendations and endorsements on your own website? So that, again, improves your reputation. And then we are building a few extra features on Introstars literally next couple of days. So one, we're going to, on your Introstars profile, we're going to display your number of followers, connections, and recommendations. So right now that is not on the Introstars profile. It's on your LinkedIn, but it's not on your, we're going to add that on Introstars. So that's literally a feature we're building right now.
That's super cool. That's super cool. That's super cool.
And we're also going to add recommendations and star ratings of users on the platform, a bit like on eBay. On eBay, you can send a star rating between buyers and sellers. You can say your star rating on eBay. We're going to add that feature as well. So again, we're still building some features. Please know that Introstars is an early stage startup. We just launched, so we're still tweaking the product. We're still adding features, but clearly user reputation is super important. Then another aspect we're going to add is member associations. So on your Introstars profile, you can say all the private members clubs you're part of. If you're part of Soho House, if you're part of, I don't know, the New York, the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, or whatever, all the member associations you're part of, to show, again, build that reputation and trust among users. So again, we're adding all these things to improve trust and reputation between users. Matthew, you have a question?
Yeah, so what would you say would be a good amount of time that someone could put towards this, I guess on like a, weekly basis? Well, how do you think someone would, really make this work for them?
So really, when you use Introstars, there's two different aspects to it. One side of Introstars are people who want to receive introductions to their ideal customers. And I call these people intro seekers. That's a word I invented. It's a made-up word. Intro seekers. So intro seekers are typically startup founders who want to receive introductions to their ideal customers, B2B salespeople, agency owners, recruiters, all these people want to receive introductions to their ideal customers. So they're called intro seekers, and they post what they're looking for on Introstars, where they describe their ideal customer and post it on the website. The other side of the platform are introducers, people who make introductions for other people and obviously get rewarded, get paid a percentage of the deal if a deal comes out of it. Now, of course, you can be on both sides. You can be an intro seeker and an introducer. Of course, you could be on both sides, but you don't have to. Like, you can be only an introducer or only an intro seeker. So if you're an introducer, my recommendation is to go to Introstars every couple of days, every 2-3 days, or even every day, to check out what people are looking for so you can make introductions for them and help others, and again, get paid and monetize introductions. The average introduction reward is $5,000. So you can earn a lot of money by just making introductions. If you're an intro seeker, you just have to post once on the website. Just post what you're looking for. That takes like 5 minutes. It's really quick. And once it's posted, hopefully you should start getting messages every couple of days from introducers. But again, we're still building the community. So right now you might have to wait a few weeks before you get some messages, but we're building the platform. I'm doing lots of community building efforts, like events, like talks like these, webinars, in-person events. We just did a big launch party in New York in March, so like 4 weeks ago. It's again, we're going to build that community of introducers. Sai, you have a question? Go for it.
Hi, great insights, Mike. So being in Canada, I can tell you that the startup ecosystem is relatively small. So physically, I can only, be in fewer impactful places. So while I'm trying to look for people over the internet who could be in UK, US, how do you really build trust with someone over the internet?
A very good point. And so one decision we've made early on with Introstars, maybe I should have said that up front, so my apologies, is that we're doing it one city at a time. So right now, today, we have only launched London and New York for now. We're obviously going to expand to many more cities in the US and Canada. Right now, today, it's only New York and London. And that's one of the ways we build trust, is to really have a local community of trusted individuals where everyone on the platform right now today is London and New York. And so if you literally want to meet an intro seeker introducer, they're physically in the same city as you, meaning New York right now. And that obviously helps trust, because you can meet them for coffee in person in New York, in Manhattan, right? Or in London. So it's not people who are 5,000 miles away, right? So that always builds trust as well. So that's one way to do it. Yeah.
But in the case that I want to reach out to someone beyond my physical boundaries, would you have some tricks or some techniques to?
Right now, if you sign up on Introstars, right now today, you have to be physically in New York or London. Outside of those cities, you'll be on a waiting list. So you can sign up right now and put your city. You'll be added to a waiting list, and as soon as we open your city, you'll get a notification saying, "Hey, we're now opening your city. You can now use the platform." Right now. Only the introducer and intro seeker have to be in the same city. The customer you're introducing, they could be anywhere in the world. They could be in Dubai, they could be anywhere, it doesn't matter. But the intro seeker and introducer have to be in the same city to build trust among them, right? So that's what it's about. Yeah. Ian, you have a question?
Yeah, so I've actually tried to do this, and I tried pretty hard. And the method, I'm in Toronto, by the way, Simon.
Okay. Cool.
So the method that I use is the standard agreement, which I mentioned, called the FAST agreement, which apparently is used by many thousands of startups globally. And they take a somewhat different approach. They don't go like pure commission. Basically, you get restricted stock options, a chunk every month that you remain associated with the startup. So you sign an agreement. And for like, I think a 2-year vesting period, you get these stock options, and you're expected to do things like make introductions and provide other services during that period. And the agreement can be canceled at any time if either party becomes unhappy. So I tried very hard with a trusted startup friend. It was a friend who was a startup founder, fellow I actually worked for at one point. And I was unable to come to any kind of an agreement. I mean, even with that agreement, which is pretty standard, and a pure commission was a complete non-starter. Like that he would not go for it. So I'm a little, I think it's a good idea, but I'm a little concerned about how easy it is for most people to implement.
So I just looked at the FAST agreement. It's a different use case. So FAST agreement is really about advisory for startups. That is not the use case for Introstars. The use case for Introstars is purely B2B sales. So it's literally a
Okay.
startup founder. You introduce them to a customer or a prospect
Gotcha.
before they become a customer. And then they close $100,000 deal, let's say, and then they
Right.
introduce it's paid a commission. So it's really, the use case is purely B2B sales, right? It
Gotcha.
is not advisory. It is not investment. That's a very different use case. So
Okay.
we focus, Introstars as a platform focuses purely on B2B sales, right? That is the use case for Introstars. For other types of advisory, investment, blah, 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 that's a different type of introduction where typically, as you said, people don't get paid referral commissions, right?
Yeah.
It's a
Gotcha.
different.
Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Great. Wonderful. I mean, to be honest, the problem I'm trying to solve for startup founders or B2B salespeople is, of course, lead generation. Lead generation is the hardest problem to solve. I worked in sales for 30 years. Lead generation is a hard problem to solve. And most B2B salespeople or startup founders or agency owners trying to do lead generation, what they typically do, and that's very common, is to focus on cold outreach, like cold emails, cold LinkedIn messages, using AI spam bots to send 1 million spam emails to 1 million people, and with a tiny response rate of 0.5%. That's one email which was where someone clicked, and responded. Maybe you're going to close a deal. That's what typically lead generation means.
Yes.
Is spamming as many people as possible, right?
Yeah.
There's so many problems with that. So the first problem is that the response rates are crashing. More and more people are ignoring cold emails completely because they receive 1 million spam emails per day. And using AI, it's even worse. With AI, it's spammed even more by even more spam bots. And so AI is making it worse, where the response rates are just crashing and crashing and crashing and crashing. And I can foresee a future in maybe a couple of years, 2-3 years, whatever it is, where response rates will go to 0, because everyone will start using AI spam filters to block all this incoming AI spam. And so it's going to be AI versus AI, AI spam bots versus AI spam filters. And that's going to go.
That's what's happened in the job market.
Yeah.
AI is ruining the whole job market.
Joseph, you want to say something? Joseph.
Oh, first I wanted to say I love the focus on the trust element, because that's definitely been lacking. I mean, I personally, have had people take advantage of an introduction I've made over the years, right? It's just, I get it, it's somewhat natural. But I'm curious about your business model, right? So you're helping people make these introductions. I presume there's some sort of percentage that you guys take for helping facilitate. How does that work, and how do you ensure that your trust is held up?
Absolutely. Very good point. And I'll talk about it in a second. But first, Tino wanted to say something. So Tino.
Yeah. So your business is more akin to BNI. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes and no. So BNI, for those who don't know, is a global organization where they've got chapters in each city, like groups of people who meet every week, typically very early in the morning at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. And they basically send referrals to each other, right? That's a principle of BNI. We've got electricians and plumbers and accountants and lawyers who send referrals to each other in that closed group of trusted people. And I think, there's good and bad to BNI. The issue is BNI, and this is the issue I've just experienced myself talking to members of BNI, right? That's what they tell me, is that very often some people in a BNI group send lots of referrals to other people, but get nothing in return. And they basically spend all their time finding customers for other people and never get paid or never get a referral in return. And so it works for some people, doesn't work for others. And the typical deal size is very small. BNI, again, is electricians, plumbers, whatever. So it's very small deal sizes. So Introstars takes a different approach. Introstars focus on large deals, $20,000 or more. And every introducer gets paid cash if a deal comes out of it. So it's not an unbalanced exchange where you send a referral to someone else, hoping you're going to get a referral in exchange, but you might not. So the difference is with Introstars, the introducer gets paid cash. That's it. And you're not expected to send a referral in return. You can, of course, if you want to, great, and go for it, but you don't have to, right? So it is similar to BNI, but also very different. I think we're taking the best elements of BNI, but just improving on the formula to focus really on a fair compensation for introducers, where you get fairly compensated instead of spending all your time for other people or helping others and not getting anything in return. Then to answer Joseph's question about the business model. So with Introstars, the platform keeps 10% of the referral commission on success. So imagine you've got a $50,000 deal, right? Which is closed by an introduction on Introstars. The intro seeker can set the introduction reward as they want. So you can say it's 5% of the deal, 10%, 20%. That's up to them. So let's say they say 10%, right? So if it's a $50,000 deal, the referral commission to the introducer will be $5,000. The platform itself, Introstars, keeps 10% of that. So we would keep $500 and pay out $4,500 to the introducer. So that $500 is really the convenience fee of using Introstars as a platform. You've got the referral agreement, the tracking mechanism, the trusted users, all the legal terms and conditions taken care of, a legal protection framework for the introducers called Intro Protect to protect them, to guarantee they get paid, et cetera, and the reputation. So all of these aspects is why we charge 10% of the referral commission. So not 10% of the deal size, 10% of the commission, just to be clear, right?
Yeah, well, it seems like well worth the fee.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
How do
that's
you
the
go
business
about-
model for Introstars. Yeah.
How do you go about setting up what that commission is? Right? I mean, is
So
it
yeah,
a
very good
percent
point.
value? Is it a hard dollar amount? And I can also see, I mean, how do you know when a deal is done, for example?
Very good question. So the referral commission is set by the intro seeker upfront. When the intro seeker creates an opportunity on Introstars, they describe their ideal customer profile and describe their average deal size and what reward they're happy to pay. If it's 5%, 10%, 20%, whatever they want. The more generous you are, the more introductions you're going to get. As simple as that. So that's how the intro seeker sets that up front. I'll give you a demo in a second. I'll share my screen and show it to you so you can see what it looks like. And then to answer your second question, how do we track it? So we don't have any specific way to know when a deal has been done. So it's, again, the intro seeker has to self-declare when they've closed the deal on the platform. Now, why would they do that? Well, it's in their best interest to have a good reputation. So it's in their best interest to self-declare on the platform when they've closed the deal and to pay the referral commission, because it's very easy for the introducer to find out when a deal has been done. I mean, they've made the introduction. They know who they've introduced. They can easily find out when a deal has been done. It's not like a hidden secret. Like, they can find out easily. So the intro seeker can't lie or pretend a deal was not done. No, the introducer will just know. And so it's in their best interest to be honest and straightforward and declare when the deal is done, because, again, that will improve their reputation, meaning they're going to get many more introductions. And it's tied to their LinkedIn reputation. Now, most intro seekers are B2B salespeople and startup founders. They really value their reputation. They don't want to run away and disappear and never do business again. No, they want to get lots of repeat introductions because they want to build a good reputation. And so, again, it's in their best interests to self-declare deals. Now, they do get reminders every week. So when they get an introduction, it is tracked by Introstars in the intro tracker, and they get a weekly reminder saying, hey, did you close the deal? Hey, did you close the deal? Hey, did you update the stages of this introduction? So there is obviously a mechanism to remind them to do it. But yeah, we don't have a magical system to know when a deal has been done, right? They have to declare it. But again, we believe that user reputation is really important, and that they know that they can't just run away because they live in the same city as the introducer. They're bound to see each other, right? So that's important.
Are you going to add reviews? I just want to add quickly, are you going to add reviews at any point?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Are you going to add reviews at any point? Just curious.
Absolutely, yes. We're definitely going to add reviews, user reviews, 100%. Yes. Yeah, something we're building right now. Absolutely. So if you want, let me share my screen right now. Bon, if you could unlock my screen sharing.
Oh, let's just, we have one person who got here, like Jordan Waldman. Jordan, did you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Yeah, go for it, Jordan. Yeah, sorry.
That's called putting me on the spot. Thank you for that.
That was fun. I warned you in the chat.
It's all good. No, I didn't mean it in a negative way. I'm in Silicon Valley. It's a little early for most people here. I'm in the angel and early stage investments. Pleasure to be here, and it's good to hear things other than I want to invest in you. Do you want to invest in me? It's a good, refreshing conversation. So thank you for that.
Great, absolutely. Yeah, we're always looking for interesting investors to work with, whether we're going to invest with them. I'm always looking for investments to make, but I'm also fundraising. I'm actually on both sides of it, and the reason for that is because when I invest in other startups in the UK, I get massive tax breaks from the UK government to give me up to 50% tax breaks. But when I invest in my own startup, I don't get tax breaks. So I'm looking to invest more, but I'm also looking for investors for my own startup. So we've already invested $250,000 in Introstars, and we're now at 1,500 users, London and New York. And the plan is to launch in many, many more cities. And so I'm fundraising to build a bigger team so I can launch in 5 or 10 more cities in the US and Canada very quickly. So we're always interested in investors as well to help us make more connections. So we're looking at both sides, startups to invest in and also investors. So yeah.
It's good to be here, and good morning to all of you.
And good morning.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming.
My
Justin,
pleasure.
you want to give him access so that Mike can.
Yeah, I think I have to give everyone access, right, Mike? Is there a way to do it just you?
There should be. If you just click on my name, you should allow me to to share content.
Right.
Right click on my name.
Yeah, it's not letting me, but give me 1 second. Sorry, everyone.
Sure, no worries, no worries.
You can trust us.
It's letting me allow you to record or pin, but
Share screen.
all right, I'll give this a shot. If it hopefully this doesn't create problems.
Okay.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, no, it's working. Perfect.
Oh, good.
So that's the website, introstars.com. So again, it's very simple website, and we use only LinkedIn login. So it's 1 click. You don't have to create a new login, password, all that stuff. Just sign in with your LinkedIn login. Now, in terms of security, we don't have access to your connections on LinkedIn. Just to be clear, we don't have access to any of your connections. We don't take your contact details of your connections. And that's super important for data privacy and security, right? So if we ever get hacked, it's not like you're going to lose all your contacts, like none of that. Like we don't have any of your contact details. The only thing we get from your LinkedIn is for your first name, a last name, your picture, and your email address. That's all we get, nothing else. We don't get your company, your contacts, we don't get any of that. So again, very little data, and we want to keep it that way. I want the least amount of data possible. Again, for data privacy and security is really important, right? Especially if you're an introducer, you spend the last 20 years of your career building your black book of contacts. You know, we don't want you, that's very precious data for you, right? So we don't want to have access to that. That's really important. So once you're signed up, what you can see here is you can see a list of all the introductions people are looking for and how much you're happy to pay for those introductions. So here I'm logged in London. That's why you see UK pounds. If you're logged in New York, you'll see dollars, right? This is just the UK website. So for example, the first one on top is called Peter Banerjea. He's looking for introductions to CMOs, marketing heads, and CEOs of e-commerce companies. And he pays up to £12,000 per introduction, which is 10% of his average deal size. If I go to the next one, Christopher is looking for technology leads and legacy media companies. He pays up to £34,000 per introduction, etc. So you can spend a few minutes just browsing through what people are looking for. Or you can filter. There's a filter button here where you can filter by industry, by job title. So imagine if you used to work in manufacturing or logistics or recruitment, you can select those categories to only see relevant opportunities for your own industry. So you really can filter. Now, let's click on the first one here on Peter as an example. You can see if I click on it, Peter here describes his ideal customer profile in more detail, so I can understand who I could introduce to him. And there's a bit of a description of who Peter is, so I know a bit more about him. Now, you can see there's a few keywords and tags here about who he's looking for. You see SaaS, startup, B2B, finance, consumer. There's a yellow button here called Check My Network. If I click on this button, it's going to open my LinkedIn with my first degree connections with those keywords. So these are all people I could introduce to Peter. So it makes it really easy to figure out who I could introduce from my network to that person. Again, so we make it very easy as an introducer to figure out what introductions I could make. So then I can message Peter saying, hey, Peter, I just saw your ad on Introstars. Can we organize a quick Zoom call or go for coffee so you can get to know each other a bit more, to build a bit of trust before I can send an introduction to Peter. And once I build that trust, I can click on Make Introduction here for Peter. If I click here, I just type in who I want to introduce to Peter. So let's say I want to introduce him to my friend Bill Gates. There you go. And I know Bill at Microsoft.com. And then I can click as the lead if they're interested to be introduced to Peter. So if I click on this button, it creates an email template for me to send to Bill Gates to ask him if he's interested to be introduced to Peter. So, hi, Bill, would you like me to introduce you to Peter? This is what Peter does. There's a bit of introduction there. And if I click on send this message, it doesn't actually send it from Introstars. It will go to your default email program, whether it's Gmail or Outlook or Apple Mail, and then you send it yourself to Bill Gates. So really the idea is you send it yourself to ask for permission. Hey, are you interested to be introduced? And once Bill Gates said, yes, I'm interested to be introduced to Peter, I can then click on the check mark here, say, I have Bill Gates' approval to be introduced. Click continue, and then it creates that email introduction for you. So it really makes it super easy for an introducer. It kind of creates a whole email template for you. It's like literally one click, super duper easy. And once you've made the introduction, you can go to your intro tracker to track all the introductions you've made and received. So in this example, I've made 32 introductions. These are all the introductions I've made. I can track them when I made them. If a deal has been done, it's all in the intro tracker. If you've received introductions, they would be here. I haven't received any introductions here because I'm not an intro seeker in this example, right? So that's why it's blank for now. If you want to be an intro seeker, if you go back to the homepage there, you can go on top where it says looking for business introductions, and there you click on post an opportunity. This is where you would describe your ideal customer profile, right? And then you just post. So again, it's very, very simple, very easy to use. You then have like a messages section. You can see all the messages you've sent to other people on the platform. And then you've got your help section. You've got like getting started, tips and tricks, like help on how to make a good introduction, et cetera, right? It's all it. So again, it's very easy. It's very, very simple. We really wanted to make it super easy for introducers and intro seekers. That's it. Any questions?
Oh, that's fantastic. And fantastically easy. I'm sorry, go ahead. Questions?
Yeah, I think you built it very, very well, especially if you're in the B2B space. One of the things that I found is the challenge to do the warm reach. So this kind of at least makes it lukewarm, if not warm.
Absolutely. So really, I was talking earlier about the challenges of cold outreach. The idea is to change your lead generation strategy to focus on warm referrals instead of cold outreach, right? For me, everything's about warm referrals, about trusted people, people you trust, people you want to do business with, and people you actually meet over a Zoom call or in person to build that trusting relationship before you actually send a referral or an introduction, right? So really, that's what it's designed for. It's to focus lead generation on trusted intros instead of cold outreach. Right, Tino, you had a question.
Yeah, so I work in the industry of Luddites, and very few people are on LinkedIn. So my customers are remodeling companies and mostly remodeling companies, property rehabbers and stuff.
Yeah.
And so what would be the probability of success or something?
Yeah, very, very good point. So the customer, the end users being introduced don't have to be on LinkedIn. They don't have to be on LinkedIn at all. Only the intro seeker and introducer have to be on LinkedIn, right? So you're in this example, you'd be an intro seeker. You're obviously on LinkedIn. You can post on Introstars. The introducer sending introduction, they have to be on LinkedIn, right? So they can sign up to Introstars and send you some referrals. But the people they refer to, the leads they're introducing, those leads do not have to be on Introstars, do not have to be on LinkedIn. They could literally be anyone off the street, right? If the introducer knows them personally, is their cousin, their friend, someone they went to school with, whatever, that's fine. The lead, again, does not need to be on LinkedIn at all, right?
Okay, so our average deal value is 26,000, or it was last year. And
Perfect. Great.
And we get a third of that as our take with DoorDash like margins. So what would you suggest to be a good
referral commission?
Referral commission.
I mean, it really depends on your margin. When you say $26,000, is that pure profits, or is that what is your profit margin? If your profit margin is high enough, then of course you could be extra generous and give 20% referral commission. If your profit margin is really small, then maybe you can only afford to pay 5 or 10%, right? It really depends on your right?
So our net take is around 30%.
30%. Okay, so what if you gave 10% as a referral commission? That would be, or 15. That's kind of half of your profits. I think that would be reasonable.
Yeah, that would certainly be incentivizing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly, right? So yeah, I think that's very reasonable. 10-15% referral commission.
Okay.
You know, I wanted to circle back to something Ian started talking about earlier about AI and how it's ruining the job market because there are so many fake AI resumes and this and that out there. And I wonder if platforms like this are going to be more and more necessary in future as AI just, AI bombs, we'll call it AI bombing since we're Zoom bombing earlier.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think AI is creating more and more spam, fake CVs, fake introductions, fake emails. And so the human aspect, the trusted human aspect becomes so much more important, where you're only going to consider someone who's been recommended to you. It's like, hey, I'm recommending this person to you. And then that trust, that chain of trust will be there because you trust the person who sent you that CV, that resume, or that customer, right? So again, human trust is going to be the solution to AI spam, right? So everything has to focus on human trust. And that's what I'm building my whole startup on, is human trust. We don't use AI at all. Like there's no AI on Introstars. We might use some AI at some point just to like improve the automated introduction email, just to make it a bit more relevant. But right now we're not using AI for that. Right now it's just a copy and paste of your short summary, your short bio. That's what we're doing right now. There's literally no AI at all for now. Because again, AI is not important. What's important is that human trust. That's what's important right now. Yeah.
Like I wonder if all this social media and AI and this is this going to drive more human interaction on every level, on every vertical. I wonder.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Again, human trust, human connection, human recommendation. That's the most important thing for everything. Like, yeah, it's the same if imagine you travel as a tourist on vacation to a different country. If I just Google like coolest things to do in Taipei, Taiwan, or whatever, I'm going to find 20,000 search results, and half of it is written by AI. Instead of that, I'd rather ask a friend of mine who's been to Taiwan, to Taipei, for that friend I trust to give me personal recommendations. Say they went to that restaurant or to that whatever, mountain. So for me, again, that human curation is more important than stuff I can find on Google or AI, right? It's always human personal recommendations from other people you trust, which is that differentiator. And it's the same for recruitment, same for B2B sales, same for everything. It's all about human recommendation. Again, that is so much more important than AI stuff, right? Cool. I think that's it for today. It's been like already 1 hour. So
we got to
yeah.
we got to 11. So if anybody else has a question, I'm sorry, I thought I did say from 9:30 to 11. So if anybody else has a question or comment, then go ahead, guys.
Well, I mean, my question is just, do you see any risks to organizations that are using your platform, Mike? I mean, you mentioned some of them, I think, but like, what should people know? I mean, there's nothing new which does not have risk, right? So what are risks?
There's risk in everything, but again, for me, it comes down to reputation. If you use the platform in a negative way, let's say you start spamming a bunch of people or sending crappy fake introductions or whatever, right? That will just damage your reputation and no one will want to do business with you anymore. So yeah, you can burn your reputation by doing some stupid things like sending crappy spammy introductions, sure. But then you'll just be banned from the platform and that's the end of it. It's like,
so that brings up, so how do you monitor activity to see if this kind of bad behavior?
So there is a reporting mechanism. If you get a crappy spammy introduction, you can report that person and we'll investigate. And if that person is a repeat offender, we'll just ban them from the platform. Simple as that. Yeah.
Great. Okay, thank you. Good presentation.
I can also see a risk to your reputation as well. If let's say you recommend a welder or whatever, right? And they happen to do a bad job, and the person that hired them is unhappy with you, therefore. But that's always a risk in referrals.
Absolutely, 100%. So referrals is always a risk. That's a risk in business. But also, when you make an introduction to someone, you can specify how well do you know them. Sometimes I might introduce to people saying, hey, I just met this person, but I think you two would get along and you should have a chat. But I say in my introduction, I just met this person. So I don't pretend that I'm recommending them as the most amazing person in the world. I just say I just met them, but I think you would get along. So then if something bad turns out of that introduction, you're not going to blame me because they get Mike mentioned he just met them. You know, I didn't pretend he's my best friend and I've known him for 20 years. I just met them, right? So you can, as an introducer, you can specify how well you know that person. Have you actually worked with them? Do you know how good they are? Or do you just think that they might be a good person to meet, but you don't endorse them further than that? So your level of endorsement and trust can be specified in the introduction. And therefore, your risk of reputational damage is not that bad because you didn't actually endorse them. You just said, here's an interesting introduction. Do whatever you want with it, right? It's not like I'm swearing that person is amazing. You know, I'm not. So again, based on your level of endorsement, you can specify that. And then your reputational risk, you know, is tied to that.
Well, and now that I think about it, is it possible to have different price levels for different introduction levels? You know, a really warm introduction is worth 10%. You know, hey, I know this guy, but not too well is worth 5, etc.
We're not that granular yet, but again, it's a percentage of the deal size closed. That's really what's important. It really depends on if you close $100,000 deal or you close a $2,000 deal. Now that's really what's important for you. If you work in sales, at the end of the day, that's what you care about. Whether the introducer knew him well or not is not really important. What you care about is closing sales, right? Yeah.
Mike, in terms of your platform, can you be on both sides, like you yourself are?
Yeah. You can be an intro seeker and an introducer for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And is there a fee for either side?
So to be an introducer, it's completely free of charge. It's free for life, always free. To be an intro seeker, to post on the website, it's $99 a month to post. However, since we're still starting early right now, I'm more than happy to create a special promo code, a VIP promo code, which I can give to all of you to get completely free access, right?
Oh, great.
So if you're in New York right now and you want to post on the platform, send me a quick message and I'll send you a promo code so you can post for free. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Cool. Joseph, your question.
Yeah, I can talk to you all day. This has been great. Curious, you know, the B2B SaaS companies all over the place, right? I imagine they're your ideal customer for people to be on this platform, right?
Including them, sure, you're one of them.
Like, what's your go-to-market strategy to get more people using the product and the platform? And you obviously have had success in your career building other tech businesses. So how are you doing it here?
Yeah, so first of all, I do a lot of social media posts. On LinkedIn, I've got 30,000 followers. I've posted more than 70 videos of like me talking to the camera, giving tips and tricks on referrals, networking, lead generation, et cetera, et cetera. So that has generated a lot of signups to the platform. So I keep on doing that. I post lots of content on LinkedIn. So I'm a mini LinkedIn influencer, if you like. And I do lots of partnerships. So I do partnerships with private members clubs, member associations, networking groups, event organizers. And so my strategy is going to keep on doing that. I'm a strong believer in partnerships. And so I do lots of partnerships. So if you know any member organization or event organizers, networking groups who want to partner with me, I'm more than happy to partner with them, create a free VIP promo code for all their members, and do that. So that's one way to do it, to grow the community. And then second of all is doing networking events like these, but also in-person events. So I've done 10 in-person events in London already. I've done 1 in-person event in New York. I'm going to do many more, of course. That was the first one. And then virtual meetups as well, like webinars, etc. So again, that's my growth strategy. You know, partnerships, events, webinars, virtual events, in-person events, social media posts. That's what it's about. That's how I'm going to grow the community.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, I can also see like the whole, you know, venture world wanting to use this as well. You know, they make a lot of introductions.
Oh, absolutely. For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I want to really work with other super connectors in each city I'm in. So I actually launched a podcast called The Super Connectors. That's the name of the podcast, where I interview other super connectors, really to promote that idea of making more connections and introductions. And so we already have 20 episodes of the Super Connectors podcast. I'm obviously going to have Bonnie on there at some point. It's just I haven't started my New York episodes yet. So far, it's only been London, but I'm going to start New York. And so if you know any other super connectors, obviously I'm more than happy to invite them on the podcast to build a community of super connectors, right? And if you just go to LinkedIn and you type super connector as a search term, you're going to find 10,000 results, right? Of people who define themselves as super connectors, right? It's like it's obviously there's a whole movement of super connectors. And so for me, it's kind of reaching that audience as much as I can, right? Yeah.
You should put in the URL for your podcast so we can check it out.
Yeah, the podcast is on my LinkedIn as well. So
okay.
let's send you the link. It's on my LinkedIn under my videos. So let me share with you right now. 1 second. I'll send you the link. So you can see all my video content and the podcast as well. Show all posts and videos. 1 second. There we go. There's the link. And I'll post it to everyone. There you go. I just sent it in the chat, meeting chat.
Oh, thank you.
Ian is recommending the Spa Castle in Queens. Oh, thank you so much, Ian.
It's unbelievable. It's an enormous place. It's a Korean
Oh,
style.
wow.
It's unbelievable.
That is amazing. Thank you so much. Well, I'll definitely try that one. Another one I tried is called Sojo in Hoboken, in New Jersey, and that's amazing. It's got like a rooftop infinity pool with a view of the whole skyline of Manhattan. That's really spectacular on 7 floors. I mean, you want to spend the whole day there. It's enormous. You want to spend at least 5 hours there, at least. It's like, spend a.
That's great.
But yeah, Spa Castle in Queens, I have not tried that one. So, and okay.
Oh,
thanks for that. I'll put it on my list.
Yeah, I gotta try that.
Great recommendations. Fantastic. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to discuss? So Fiction, you asked me to send you a promo code, no problem. And you're based in New York, Fiction?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. Amazing. Let me add you on LinkedIn right now.
You probably already have an invite from me in your inbox.
Perfect. Perfect. Amazing. Cool. Amazing.
So any other questions or anything you'd like to leave us with, Mike? I have a sore throat today, so I'm just under.
Listen, I just want to, whatever you're doing, whether you're using Introstars or not, is not important. What's important is focus your lead generation efforts on referrals, right? On referral programs, on incentivizing referrals instead of purely cold outreach.
Right.
Most startup founders I meet or B2B salespeople focus so much of their efforts on cold outreach. They spend 95% of their time doing cold emails, AI outreach, LinkedIn outreach, which is fine again, but it's like that should not be 95% of your time. That should be like 20% of your time, and 80% should be on referrals, warm referrals, referral programs, incentivizing referrals, networking, asking for referrals. It's all about human to human referrals instead of cold outreach all the time. Right. And so that's really the mindset shift I'm trying to go with or change in the mindset of startup founders and B2B salespeople. I think that's the revolution we need to work on. And really inspire a new generation of introducers, of people who want to go out of their way to make introductions for other people because they're nice people and they want to help. That's great, but also to get fairly compensated. Like if a $50,000 deal comes out of an introduction, you should get fairly compensated, right? And so that's really the movement I'm trying to do here by working with a whole new generation of introducers and connectors.
I could see B2B salespeople using your platform as their entire sales strategy.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
If they really focus and use it properly.
Yeah.
Mike, I got a quick question for you. When you went out as an entrepreneur, identifying your ICP, what methods did you use to segment, target, and position yourself to this niche that you have now arrived at?
Yeah, and so to be honest, there's no scientific method to that. It's more like talking to people. I've been to 1,000 networking events. I talk to a lot of people. I'm a talker, right? But I listen. Obviously, it's more not about talking, it's about listening to what they tell me. And what they tell me is really what I figured out what would be a perfect ICP for me. So in my specific case, is B2B salespeople where their average deal size is $20,000 or more, right? That is my ICP, where people are selling IT services, consulting services, recruitment services, marketing services. These are typically my ICPs on the intro seeker side. And then on the introducer side, It's really super connectors, people who define themselves as super connectors, who love to introduce people, who love to go to networking events, who love to find the right connection, connecting the dots, who've got at least 10,000 connections on LinkedIn or more, who just love to connect people. So those are really my ICPs. And again, to figure that out, it was just by talking to people, going to networking events, chit-chatting with people, understanding where is the biggest opportunity, where's the lowest hanging fruit, right? So that's really what it is. Yeah.
Oh, we have a Natindra has a comment, and he said, I do a lot of work with Southeast Asian startups. Any
Great.
advice to startups trying for global expansion?
Yeah, so again, focus on referrals, focus on introductions. That's how you're gonna do it, right? If you're trying to sell into a market, a different market than you know, it's very difficult because no one trusts you, no one knows you, right? So you need to focus on people who actually already have those relationships in the market, and you have to reward them. You have to pay them generous referral commissions, like pay them, 20, 30% referral commissions, so they have an incentive to go out of their way to make those introductions for you. But you obviously, they have to trust you as well. So you have to make sure that those introducers trust you, right? You have to build trust with those introducers as well. So that's a bit of an uphill battle, but you have to start somewhere. So go to networking events and build those relationships. Be friendly, approachable, and try to bring value to others. I think it's also about building your personal brand. It's not so much your company's brand, it's your personal brand. Like post stuff on LinkedIn, make sure you have a cool LinkedIn banner, make sure your headline on LinkedIn is really about helping others and what you specialize in. So I think building your personal brand is super important. In the whole referral game and the whole referral networking thing, your personal brand is everything, right? Build your personal brand, your reputation, be nice to others, always try to help others. That will go a long way to build your personal brand and to get people to send you referrals and say nice things about you.
I want to make one other comment about LinkedIn where, I've been on LinkedIn since the beginning. I helped Reed with his talking points when he was first launching. So, and I get a ton of people who connect with me on LinkedIn. You and I know this one and that one. I do not connect with anyone who I haven't spoken to or met, because otherwise it's useless, I find. Any kind of, speaking of trust, which is exactly what you're doing, building a trusted community. Any comment on that front?
Yeah. I mean, again, every person have a different approach.
Yeah.
I connect to people I haven't met on LinkedIn. So again, that's a different approach. There's no right or wrong. It's a different approach. Each one to their own. But I will only connect with people who have a lot of followers, who have lots of connections, who I believe I would have an interesting conversation with. Right. So I don't willy-nilly accept every connection I get. Like, I don't do that. So I do check every person carefully. I check their personal brand. I check how many connections they have, how many followers. I check what they've posted before I accept them to see if there's someone I would want to have a conversation with, right? So I am picky about who I connect with, but I do connect with people I've never met before if I believe there could be a good conversation. If that person starts to spam me and send me automated message, I then remove the connection, right? Simple as that. Because I see that a lot. I connect with people I think are interesting, and then their instant message is like an AI generated spam. Say, hey, we sell this service, do you want to buy it?
So that goes on for 3 weeks.
Yeah, so I just remove the connection right away if that's how they behave, right? So for me, that's not acceptable. For me, it has to be like a personal message, et cetera, right? So again, I do remove lots of connections as well. And the reality is, with LinkedIn, you can have unlimited followers on LinkedIn, but you can only have 30,000 connections. And I've already reached 30,000. And so I now have to remove connections every day. I remove 15, 20 connections every day so I can add some new ones. And so every day I have to go through my connections and remove ones which, I haven't talked to in a long time, or send me some spam messages or not relevant to me. So every day I have to kind of clean up my connections now and start removing some. And I do that manually. There's no automated process. I literally manually go through my connections, remove them. It is a very manual process. I use no automation tools.
Yes.
One of the filters I use on LinkedIn is if there's no picture and there's no like full profile, right? Like, it's just
for sure. Yeah. If there's no picture, I remove them for sure.
I'll put my picture.
I know. Bonnie has a no picture person.
I know Bonnie is the exception. Bonnie is the exception.
But Bonnie has a lot of other credibility she brings, right? Like, she has thousands of connections and tons of value.
I'll put a picture. I have to.
Mike, I just wanted to say that if you're ever in Toronto, I think you'd get a very welcome reception here.
Thank you so much.
We may not have the biggest startup community in the world, but there are some success stories here, and a lot of people very interested in the kind of ideas that you're talking about.
No, absolutely. Listen, Toronto's on my radar for sure. Pretty much all the big cities where there's a startup community. So all the major, obviously New York is obvious, then San Francisco, Silicon Valley, LA, Chicago, Washington, DC, Austin, Denver, Miami, the biggest cities in the US. And after that, of course, Canada, Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, of course. Yeah. It's kind of the obvious ones, right? So yeah, all these are on my radar, but right now it's really one city at a time. And it's also about building community in each city. So right now I'm focusing on New York. Once I reach 1,000 people in New York, like 1,000 super connectors, then I'll move on to Silicon Valley. Once I reach 1,000 people there, I'll move on to the next one. So it's building at least 1,000 people. It's kind of a self-sustaining community in each city, right? So that's really what I'm working on.
Got it. Thank you.
Awesome.
So, any last questions or comments? Mike, this was fantastic.
I'll just say it was great.
It was
Appreciate
fantastic. Really great. And thank you so much. We're discussing what you're doing on both sides of the table. Thank you.
Absolutely. So if you know any other super connectors, send them my way. I'd love to talk to them. If you know any angel investors who are passionate about connecting people, passionate about network effects, send them my way as well. Great conversations to have for sure. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
Recommend Steven Seng in New York. Okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
you should check them out.
I will. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Happy Passover and Easter to all those who are celebrating those holidays.
Thank you.
Happy Passover, happy Easter. Yeah.
And I also just want to comment that Joseph just became a grandfather to twin boys.
Oh, wow.
So
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So
Exciting
good
time.
on you.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for being here. And we'll see you all very soon.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Bonnie. Thank you so much for organizing. Great to meet you all.
Thank you, Mike.